All right, welcome back. We continue live right here, Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani, Andrew Fillipponi, give us a call. We also get a lot of tweets in. Andrew, we have this from Sean Kramer. Interesting question. He says, who has the shortest leash for the Penguins next season? The GM, the head coach, star player? Who goes first if they miss the playoffs or miss in the first round of the playoffs?
So, star player, who are we talking about? Like the Malkin,
well,
Sidney
I'm still
Crosby?
not convinced that I still think he could be traded this offseason, I think. I mean, I know they want to keep him together, but there could be something in play that they don't even suspect at this point that changes it. But go ahead. If it's next year, yeah. Star player, I would mean Letang Malkin probably.
Yeah, I don't think Malkin's going anywhere because he's got the full no-trade clause, and I don't think he's frustrated or discouraged enough to want out. I think it comes down to Letang or Sullivan. If they're way out of the playoff picture, like 30 games in next year, you know, they've had so much success firing coaches midseason, Bob, I could see them biting the bullet. But then again, you know, if they're trying to cut costs, are they going to want to pay a coach $15 million or something like that to go away? I mean, that's a lot of money. Letang, I'm not as down on him as other people, Bob, but I will say it's always in the back of my mind that they won a Stanley Cup without him, and now they've got John Marino. You know, so that I think is still, it's not likely, but it is a possibility.
Let's go out to the lines. We have Jim, who joins us on line 2. Hello, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hey, guys, I just had a couple comments. Been a lifelong Pirate fan. My dad took me to Forbes Field when I was a young boy, and I can remember sitting in those box seats watching Roberto Clemente throw a strike to home plate. So I just had one thing to say, raise the Jolly Roger, and God bless you guys. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you. Appreciate it, Jim. Yeah, there's only been 4 Jolly Rogers raised so far this year. They need more raising of the Roger. Let's go out to Paul, who on line 3. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
Hey, Paul. I'm sorry.
That's all right,
Hey,
Paul.
what do you think about the George Kittle deal?
I think it's a lot of money, but I think he's worth it. It's interesting that he and Travis Kelce, who's really good at what he does, got new deals. And we talked earlier today, Andrew, about Cam Hayward still waiting to get his. There's been a lot of spending in this offseason, even though teams don't know exactly what they're going to get in this year. And yet the Steelers have not done that yet. I'm a little surprised. I thought they might have done it, but they haven't started the season yet either, so they still have time.
Well, I've heard from at least one person, Bob, I'm not going to give away their name here, that they're having a hard time, this is just what I've heard, finding a framework for a deal with Hayward because he's such a hard guy to build a contract for because there aren't many people like him left in the NFL, Bob. He's a 31-year-old defensive lineman that's playing his best football. And that is the time in your career where you're supposed to be on the downside. I mean, there aren't a lot of guys who look like Cam Hayward who are making big money, who are playing at a high level, who are that old in the NFL. So what do? I mean, are you going to give him a deal that guarantees him money into his mid-30s? That is a very hard thing to do, especially given the new salary cap situation. If it was going to go way up, Bob, I think, okay, no-brainer. He's meant so much to this team. You do it for him, but, you know, things have changed a lot in the last few months.
I still think they're going to get it done, and I think it will happen before the beginning of this season. And even if it doesn't, I think the Steelers may make an exception for him. And I agree with what you're saying. It's going to be very tricky just given his age, given how much money you can give somebody like that. But I think of his demographic, the guys in the NFL who are his age or older, he has some of the best numbers you're going to find. So I think they'll take that into account. Got a tweet here. Zach Collins, this is a good one. He says, what is the point of Major League Baseball having taxi squads if they're not going to use them when a team has positive tests? I mean, with the Cardinals, that's your penalty. You know, everyone should know going into this you have responsibility. If that falls through and you're responsible, you have to keep playing. So play who you have. And that was the whole point of it. And I see it, we saw it with the Marlins early on, although they came back pretty quickly. Cardinals have not played. And I'm sorry, that's not the way it should be.
No, I agree. I mean, when the Nationals had Juan Soto test positive, Bob, they didn't call off that game against the Yankees on opening night. I mean, we've had non-players, coaches and trainers have tested positive, and yet it's still delayed the resumption of their season. For me, because of the way it happened, it reportedly transpired because guys broke protocol and left. If they're unwilling to play their taxi squad, in my opinion, the Cardinals should be forfeiting games right now. They should go as losses.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go to Dan real quick before we go to the break here. Dan joins us line 5. What's up, Dan?
Hi, Bob. How are you?
Good, thanks.
How are they going to, I can't think of it. I'll call back tomorrow.
He's listening to himself. Dan, you can't listen to yourself. You're going to get thrown off every time you do it. All right. On that note,
wow,
it's time for the Tri-State Office Furniture Tweet of the Day. And this comes to us from Taz Mellis, who says, in their 44 years in the NBA, the Spurs have missed the playoffs the same amount of times that they've won the championship. And that number would be 5. Pretty good run there, 22 years. So technically the Penguins now. And I know some people have called in and said that's not legitimately. It is. The NHL acknowledges that was a playoff series. The Penguins, at the time that the season came to a crashing halt, Andrew, were the 7th best team. They were going to be in the playoffs. So I'm not going to look at it any other way. Are you?
No, I mean, but it does add insult to their exit that they had the 7th best, you mentioned it, point total, and they were completely healthy for the most part, and they couldn't even force a Game 5 against the lowly Canadiens.
We'll be back with more of your calls right here live. Pittsburgh CW. Give us a shout every night of the week right here on the Sports Call.